Okay, let's just get right into it. A brand new study just gave us a look under the hood at how 700 million people are using AI every single week. And, here's the kicker. If you're an entrepreneur, chances are you're missing out on its biggest, most powerful advantages. So let's break down the blueprint for changing that right now.
And let's be super clear about what's at stake here. The source for this analysis puts it bluntly. If you think ChatGPT is just for, writing a quick email or helping your kid with homework, you're leaving money, momentum, and mojo on the table. This isn't just about being a little more productive, it's about gaining a real strategic edge. And just so we're all on the same page, this is not some small niche tech trend. We're talking about 700 million weekly users. I mean, that's almost 10% of all the adults on the entire planet actively chatting with an AI. The scale here is it's massive. And that's exactly why understanding how people are using it is so incredibly important. So, that brings us to the first huge takeaway from the research. While, yeah, everybody's using it, the way most people use AI is, well, it's fundamentally flawed, especially if you're trying to use it for business growth.
And this really gets to the core of it. The tool itself is not the problem. It's unbelievably powerful. The real game changer, the thing that separates the pros from the amateurs, is the intent behind your prompts. Are you just using it to kill time, or are you using it to build a real asset?
Now, let's get into the data, because this is where things get really interesting. It turns out there's this tiny slice of AI usage where all the value, I mean, all the real return on investment for people like us, is hiding in plain sight.
And here's the data that lays it all bare. A whopping 73% of all ChatGPT use is for non-work stuff. Personal chores, looking up recipes, planning a vacation, you name it. That leaves just 27%. Only 27% of all the messages are actually work-related. So I want you to really focus on that little 27% slice of the pie, because that is where the ROI lives. That's where strategic decisions get made, where content gets created at lightning speed, and where great ideas are turned into actual tangible business assets. So who are the people in this exclusive 27% club? Well, they're highly paid professionals, they're business owners, they're executives and knowledge workers. In other words, they're people just like you. The ones who get that the real prize isn't just getting answers, it's getting support to make better decisions. The source material uses this incredible metaphor. Using a tool this powerful for tiny, trivial tasks is like bringing a kazoo to a symphony. It just perfectly captures that massive gap between just messing around and using it for strategic, high-impact work.
Okay, so what are the pros actually doing inside that 27%? What's so different? Let's pull back the curtain and break down the power moves that separate the beginners from the experts.
Now this right here, this slide just blows up a huge myth about AI. Just look at these numbers. Coding, it's a tiny 4.2% of professional use. The real heavy hitters are writing at 40% and what's called practical guidance at 29%. So let's be clear. You do not need to be a developer to get some serious value out of this tool. So let's talk about that number one use case, writing. Most of that 40% isn't about staring at a blank page and asking it to write something new. No, it's about refining, editing, summarizing, and translating work you've already done. It's about taking your good sales proposal or your good pitch deck and making it absolutely fantastic. And that second biggest category, practical guidance, is maybe even more powerful. This is where you're using AI as a strategic thinking partner. See, people aren't asking it to do their job for them, they're asking it to think with them. It's literally like having a free MBA or a top-tier business consultant on speed dial, 24/7. And all of this leads us to the single biggest mindset shift in the entire study. It's a framework that really explains everything. It's the fundamental difference between how amateurs and pros use AI. It's the shift from simply asking for info to actually commanding it to do something. So the framework breaks it down into three simple categories. You've got asking, which is basically looking for information so you can make a decision. Then there's doing, where you tell the AI to actually complete a task for you. And finally, expressing, which is more like just brainstorming or sharing thoughts. But look what happens when you filter for just work-related stuff. The tables completely flip.
While asking is the main thing people do overall, for professionals, doing skyrockets to 56%. See the difference? Professionals aren't just using AI like a smarter Google, they're using it as a true co-pilot to get things done.
This quote says it all. You have to adopt this mindset. Stop treating AI like a fun little distraction for the break room. If you want to get real value, you have to let it into the boardroom. That means integrating it into your core strategy, your key systems, and your daily execution.
Okay, theory is great, but what do you actually do with all this? That's the most important part, right? So here it is, a clear, actionable blueprint to completely level up your AI strategy, and you can start today.
Here you go. It's a simple 4-step plan. First, you've got to audit your own use. Take an honest look. Are you an asker or a doer? Second, build a library of your best prompts so your wins become systems, not just lucky accidents. Third, integrate it into your core business operations to amplify what you already do well. And fourth, you have to track your wins, those champagne moments, so you know what's actually working. So here's the bottom line. The entrepreneurs who win aren't the ones with the fanciest new tools. They're the ones who use the tools they have with absolute clarity and courage. ChatGPT isn't the magic here. Your ambition is. So the only question left is, do you have your co-pilot?